Good afternoon, gamers. Jero back today with another VOD review. We have another one from our boy Jibbs today. There was not a lot of content this week from VODs for me to scour, it felt like. At least anything as recently as a couple days ago. So this is a match that Jibbs played on Monday, just a practice match, I believe, with one of his buddies. And as I was going through, I saw that it was an Ahri versus Jinx match. And I think it's interesting for a few reasons. One, if you had been kind of following some of my previous videos that I had discussed, Ahri is a very appealing champion to me. That is kind of the play style that I enjoy in other games, right? That archetype of kind of creature combo or controlling combo shells that can win the game over just the course of a couple turns once it gets control. That is a style that I enjoy playing. And I also thought it was interesting because Jinx is not commonly played. Red and purple is one of the only combinations that actually has two legends, right? You have access to Annie as well. And I think most people have concluded that they would prefer Annie, right? Annie, I think, is slightly more popular. So I thought it was interesting for that reason as well. But I think Jinx is really strong. I think that ability to reduce your hand size and draw 2 cards a turn has a lot of potential, right? So by no means I don't think Jinx is an underpowered option. I just think maybe people haven't found the right home for her yet. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into some of these games. We are starting off this first game with Dream Tree versus Arena's Greatest. We pull up our 4 cards, and yeah, that's perfect. I would not mulligan any of those. The full 4-card keep. Start off with Student. Again, makes a lot of sense. We're really going to want to draw a unit next turn. Otherwise, we have the potential to have a pretty weak turn. But, opponent has Enforcer into Phoenix. It's a pretty good start. And it looks like we're going to be obliged to just find your center. Yeah, I like jamming Student into Dream Tree for the obvious reasons of we're probably looking to just find your center plus on guard on our opponent's turn. I don't see why we would want to do anything else. They're presumably going to want to attack. Which card is this? Man, and just when I thought I was at the point where I pretty much recognized all the cards. Sundisk. Exhaust Legion. The next unit you play this turn enters ready. Interesting. Okay, very nice. And you only have to exhaust it for that effect, so you just have to recycle the resource to cast? Okay. I can get behind that. And Hopeful. Alright, our opponent has a very, very cohesive draw. They are sending the 4th, the Student, and they're going to get crushed here. I almost think this is so greedy. I think there's no way that this is a good play to go for. And we get to draw the card. Actually, I said on guard, but Jibbs is 100% right. You just play the 2-cost one. You get to draw he did draw 2 cards, right? Yes, he did. You just get to draw the additional card and use your resources more efficiently because obviously it's easier to sit on guard later on in the game than it is for the 2-cost one. We drew Retreat. Good draw, but we're probably kind of obliged to play Ahri here, right? I think not playing a unit would be pretty weak. Sorry, I was distracted by the massive might increase they were giving the Student. Yeah, we just jam Ahri here, I'm pretty sure. Find your center. Interesting. I think I don't like that play. I kind of understand it. Uh, I would have liked to just see us keep pace with tempo. I think our opponent's already down to 2 cards in their hand, and they're going to have a lot of longevity because of the Jinx, right? And it wasn't like we weren't going to be able to play a Fey Folk or something next turn if we were inclined. I guess Jibbs' thinking is that he just wants to ramp up and get to this Time Warp faster. But then the Time Warp kind of doesn't do anything if the Ahri's not in play, probably, right? Very interesting. What is that? We're just playing a... I think that's a Vi. And another Vi. It is too early in the game for Vi's to be wildly relevant. But the opponent definitely just needs to get down to 1 card in hand, right? So they can draw 2 next turn. And we are retreating the Hopeful. Interesting. Yeah, I think the more I'm looking at it, I don't like the Find Your Center play personally. But... how did we ready the Jinx? Or the Vi, I mean? Are we just assuming that we played it off of the... we're just saying that we used it off Sundisk? Because I think if I read Sundisk right, you have to use that first, right? Yeah, it's the next unit you play. So they're backtracking a little bit. Which is fine, especially for practice games. So we're on guarding. How many... are they factoring in the Ahri legend ability? I assume they are. I assume they are. Down goes the Vi. For those curious, you cannot use Vi's ability at a reaction or action speed. You have to do it at what we would call in the Magic World sorcery speed, the recycle ability. You have to do that outside of a combat chain. Well, we're just up a million resources here. This game looks quite in hand, I would say. We got our hold point. Opponent can't threaten that much with the Vi. They're so far away, too. We don't really have to worry about any, like, ride the wind nonsense. I would be really inclined... all right, let's do our trademark pause here for a second. 8 resources. We're getting up to the point where we have a pretty decent spread. I'm kind of leaning on Ahri plus Find Your Center, but we want to sit on our mana, so our resources rather. So we probably aren't interested in playing Find Your Center until they initiate a chain on the Dream Tree battlefield, which they're for sure going to do. But then we would have no hold. And then we would go up to back to 10 resources next turn. And then we wouldn't be able to win the game, but we could get pretty close. We probably wouldn't go for that then, right? I don't think so. Alternatively, we could just kind of flood the board with a bunch of small units. But I think that's way worse, right? Because that could fall prey to, like, Falling Star or in any of the cheap spot removal. And then we know that the opponent has a Phoenix in their trash bin. So I don't think I like playing a bunch of small units. I think I just like playing Ahri. Ahri set on a couple of our spells. I don't hate playing Fey Folk either. I don't. I think there's a lot of merit to Fey Folk as well. Fey Folk is actually probably marginally better. With the logic being, it lets us spend our resources better. We don't have to recycle anything. And I also think it's pretty likely our opponent will conquer both battlefields, go to 5, and then we can just find your center for 1 energy and not retreat anything. I think that's pretty likely, actually. And then we don't need to set up for Time Warp, but we'll be closer to it, which I think is pretty valuable. Yeah, I think the more I'm taking on this play, I think I like Fey Folk pass. And it looks like he is not doing that. It looks like he's accelerating the Fey Folk. I don't think I love accelerating Fey Folk here. This is a play to end the game quicker. Oh, and we're interesting. If your plan is to base and reveal Zonia's, okay, I don't mind this. No, this is good. This is good. I do think basing. See, so my issue with this play is I think I want to pause right there for a second. I think this play works if we're going for the Time Warp next turn, right? Because then you Zonia's the Fey Folk back. You have these 2 units. You go up next turn. You take both battlefields, presumably, or you try to take both battlefields, and then you Time Warp. Or alternatively, you take 1 battlefield, Time Warp, hold, and then try to take the other one. Because you can just get the 8th point on your Time Warp turn. You don't have to do it on the turn that you cast the Time Warp. I think because this play only leaves you with 7 resources, I think I'm not a fan. I think I like the not trying to hold. I think the hold was never relevant. But I think I would have liked us staying at 4 victory points and then just playing the Fey Folk regularly and sitting on Find Your Center. And when the enemy went to conquer, go up to 5 I guess that doesn't actually work, does it? As I said it out loud, I just realized that doesn't work. That's even more reason to just play Ahri, I think. Yeah, I think this turn of 8 resources should have been Ahri plus Sentry. Yeah, I think this turn should have been Ahri plus Sentry, personally. But we'll see how it goes. It's a more aggressive line. Aggressive lines can be quite profitable against the deck that kind of has longevity built into its legend ability, right? I mean, they're drawing 2 cards a turn. They have Phoenix in the graveyard. I think even with those things online, though, we should assume we're favored in the late game. There's the Death Rocket. We do not have any resources up, and that ends up being a really strong play because now we're forced to use our Hourglass on the student, which we don't want to do. Alternatively, just for note, if we had the Ahri in play, we could have retreated it. Because we would have had the extra resources up. Oh, maybe we couldn't have retreated it, actually. Let me verify. Yeah, we actually could not have retreated it, right? Because it is a... Where are you, retreat? Let me get your wording. Oh, yeah, we could play retreat there. Play anytime, even before spells and abilities resolve. Yeah, so we could have retreated there, which is just something of note. Like I said, I think the Ahri sets us up for the Time Warp play better. Good play, good catch by the opponent, though, because now the opponent, they are making 7-0. Well, whoa, that doesn't work, right? Unless did they remove 6? I'm going to backtrack a little bit just to make sure. Six cards. It's 3 power. They, of course, leave the Death Rocket in. 4. Okay, so 4 cards is not enough. That only makes it 7 versus 7. And our Ahri ability. So he has to play something. Presumably he left Phoenix and Rocket in. Yep. Think this is a mistake by our opponent. Yeah, the Phoenix should have already been in play as well, right? Oh, they are. All right, so they're just doing more backtracking because it's a friendly match. Yeah, obviously you can't do that in tournament. Again, just for the stop, you can't use the recycle ability as an action or reaction. You have to do that while it's in your base, and there's nothing else on the chain. And they send the hopeful in. Yeah, now we have no powerful units, which is kind of what I was concerned about, and we're hiding another card. All right. I think... So Jibbs decides he just wants to draw 2 cards here. I think that's a good line. I think that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, see, like, we're just not getting any value out of this Time Warp now is the problem. Our opponent can't win the game next turn, so I think that's, like, not that big of a deal. And then, what is this hidden card that our opponent has played? The hidden card is... Oh, what card is that? I actually can't find what card that is. Interesting. Some of the arts on these are way different than the actual card art. Oh, is it Mystic Poro, maybe? Kind of looks like it could be Mystic Poro. We've got the Stupefy, though. We have just a million cards in our hand. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, we have a million cards in our hand. Opponent drawing up to 3 has no way to get up to 8 victory points this turn. Should be able to piece this together. Looks like we've run away with the game on resources. Opponent has Seal. That's not going to do anything. They can Jinx now ready it because of the Sun Disc. And that's 6. That gets them their 6th victory point. We don't have any way to fight this. We have all of our resources already in play, so we don't get anything extra that way. And we are playing a Watcher, removing the Jinx. We go up to 7. And then, yeah, we probably should just, like, do anything in our power to make sure... Because our opponent presumably gets to draw 2 cards again. I would be really tempted to just, like, reinforce Poro onto Dreaming Tree Battlefield and sit on Defy. I don't see how our opponent beats that. I feel like the Defy is very strong here. You could not sit on Defy and reinforce Sentry and Poro, but I think I would just reinforce Poro. I think there's a lot more value in the Defy. In fact, I'm quite confident of that. Yeah, I'm not sure. So we just wanted a new card. I think that's fine to do that first, because it's kind of free. And we can still do Poro plus Defy. It looks like he ultimately agrees. It looks like he ultimately agrees. Opponent draws 2 cards, I believe up to 3, right? Or were they at 0? Okay, they were at 0. And they just drew another seal. That's not good. And then Merchant. Merchant is not going to be enough, most likely. They go up to 7, and then I do not see how they prevent us from holding. Yep, and it looks like they're just talking about it afterwards. All right, so we take that one down. A lot of interesting decisions there. I think I would want to backtrack the gameplay with the information of how it ended, but my gut instinct is that we played that a little aggressively, and we used some resources. We recycled some resources a little too aggressively, and then in that last turn on the mid game, we didn't recycle any resources, and then we ended up not getting any that turn because we already had all 12 in play. I can't help but think there was some sequencing things we could have done differently there, but it looked like we just scaled enough, right? It looked like our deck is significantly better in the mid to late game if they don't have a lot of tempo to start things off. Looking at sideboarding here, do you want against Jinx aggro? We saw Vi, so you should definitely expect Ride the Wind. Which means you probably do want Warden, right? Warden, if I remember what that card does correctly, it's pretty good against the card Ride the Wind, no? I think it's pretty good against the card Ride the Wind. While opponents can only play units to their bay, can't ready enemy units and gears. Yeah, I think I would want Wardens here. It looks like he agrees. It looks like 1 Warden went into the deck and the Yordles, which I think makes sense. I think tank is a relevant keyword against Jinx aggro. Gets a little outstatted potentially, but probably lets you trade off for better unit quality. So I think that makes sense to me. Let's see. Fast forward a little bit. Perfect. Oh, I went a little too fast. So now we have reinforcements and Zaun Warrens as the battlefields. Opponent is on the play. Looks like they're getting ready to play something. And we have our 4 cards. I missed mulligans there, but that's okay. Yeah, I should backtrack a little bit if I can. We want to kind of see everything, no? Here we go. Yep, and perfect. Not that we missed a whole lot, because I think the Time Warp is a pretty no-brainer mulligan. Very far away from being relevant to the game state. Opponent. Which 2-cost are we playing? Oh, we have Seal, okay. Into Enforcer, okay. Into Chompers! Well, that's a pretty good first turn. Okay. All right. Enemy, we see you, opponent. We see you, opponents. Yordle in the house. This draw looks pretty good. Drawing the Poro there, I think, is pretty important. Last game, you saw we kind of, on our second turn, didn't get to add a unit to the board, and I think it hurt us a decent bit. Oh, wow, now we're discarding the Phoenix. That's crazy. For another Phoenix? Oh, my goodness. Our opponent is running away with the early turns here. Running away with the early turns. All right, let's get a pause in. Okay. We just wanted that charm to not be big screened. All right, so opponent already has 2 victory points and a very, very threatening board presence. Let's see what we are thinking. We've got Flame Chompers and Phoenix on the right-hand side, And we just have the 2 might thing on the left-hand side. I probably would have the most interest, I think, in sending Yordle left and stupefying. And then, am I discarding anything to the Zaun Warrens? Probably. This doesn't look like a great charm game, right? This doesn't feel like a great charm game. And then just save the tricks for when our opponent maybe tries to send something in, or maybe our opponent might try to do some Jinx nonsense. And if they do that, we can't fight Jinx super well because she'll be, what, 6 might? 5 might, right? Because of our legend ability. So we could actually fight that with On Guard Stupefy. Yeah, I would send our Yordle left and Stupefy and draw a card and see what we draw. We actually get to draw 2 cards, right? Because we draw from the Stupefy and then we draw from Conquering Zaun. I think that's what I would do. I would send Yordle left, Stupefy, discard Charm. We draw 2 new cards. And then probably play Poro, but one of the 2 new cards that we draw could change that. Yeah, this is a situation where our Ahri Legend ability seems very relevant. If our opponent doesn't have a bunch of extra resources. Oh, whoa, wait, what's going on? We're charming Flame Chompers? That's a play that makes it look like he wants to attack Phoenix. Oh, and we are attacking Phoenix. But now Phoenix is a 5 because of reinforcements. So we're wait a minute. Why? I'm so confused. Why is this play good? Wait. What am I missing? This play looks very strange. Like, I don't even think there's a lot of value in destroying the Phoenixes, no? Because then, like, now there's just 2 Phoenixes in the graveyard if they have, like, a Death Rocket or something. And we had to expend so many extra resources because reinforcement is a hard one to conquer. Is that the logic? Maybe he just thinks that's valuable enough that now we're in control of reinforcements and it'll be a 4 defending? That's very strange. I think I don't like that turn at all. I'm pretty sure. Jibbs is very good. I'm sure there's a method to the madness. But I think I would have... I mean, that play just wasn't even on my radar. I absolutely would have made the play that I called out, I think, and gone left. If for no other reason, I just don't like that we're recycling resources for that kind of turn. That just didn't seem like a strong enough reason to recycle our mid-game resources. So our opponent gets the hold. They get the Death Rocket. And now they just get to buy back the Phoenixes, no? Oh, I guess they don't get to conquer, right? Oh, yeah, no, yeah, it's vice versa. Yeah, they just get the Phoenix back. Should they not be able to get 2 Phoenixes back, or am I misunderstanding that interaction? I might be misunderstanding that interaction. Yeah, so enemy goes full retreat into base, which I think makes sense. God, that last turn play is so wild to me. I would really love to just chat with Jibbs and kind of pick his brain and see what he was thinking. But that's all right. We move on. Open board. Opponent has 2 cards in hand and just a ton of pressure. We are under it this game. We are under it this game. We don't have any way to fight for the board. The opponent is 100% going up to 5 victory points next turn. We probably have to play Spite Mother, right? I think we have to play Spite Mother under reinforcements. Because at least then we've got some defense. We just don't let them run over us for free. I don't think we care about discarding any of these cards at Zaun. I think defending reinforcements makes more sense to me. I'm definitely looking at not recycling a second resource, because I think we want to be able to watch our next turn or Ahri plus something. So that means we're probably just obliged to play one of these 2-drops. So yeah, I would probably Spite Mother, put the token on reinforcements, and then just play one of our 2-drops. Probably Student. He hovered 5 there for a minute. I wonder if he's thinking Ahri. I think Ahri ends up being a little too weak of a play here. Yeah, I don't like the Ahri, because then we're only sitting on our Defy, and I think we can't actually play the Defy. I don't think we want to recycle 2 resources this turn. Yep. Oh, he's thinking. I think it's reinforcements, but I could see an argument for Zaun. I mean, we're probably discarding one of our 2-drops if we go Zaun, but I think I like reinforcements better. You just want to make their attacks a little awkward, I think. And I think our hand is good enough. Yep, and Student. I think Student's the right 2-drop to play. And we send her on down. Alright, so our Sprite will be a 5 while defending, which means we might even deny a victory point here, because with our Ahri Legend ability, the opponent may just not want to send that much power in to fight the Sprite, which is just going to, be destroyed anyways. Vi gets discarded. Yeah, the Phoenix will go in as a 5, but then it gets reduced 4. So this is 4 into this is 6 into R5. 6 into R5. 3 cards in hand. Probably just have to kill the Chompers, no? Yeah, I like that decision. I think you just remove the Chompers and call it a day. It's at least a permanent advantage, right? The Phoenix is very likely to be able to come back. And let's see what the opponent does next. 3 cards in hand. They probably are not interested in jinxing. They've already got their... Oh, so they're hiding again. It's probably... I think we're probably supposed to assume... It could be that same card, right? It could be the Poro, but I think we're probably supposed to assume it's fight or flight. I think we're supposed to assume it's fight or flight. Find your center. We can play that for 1. I think that's pretty good. Ooh, is second Spite Mother good? 2 and 5. But 1 is fight or flight, so we want to be careful because... Well, I mean, it's just 2 might, so I don't think the fight or flight really does a lot. I'm probably just wanting to eventually Spite Mother plus Poro. And yeah, I think the sequencing is good. Just go ahead and Spite Mother. And we're sending both in. I think that makes a lot of sense. It is Poro. So we end up getting the trade. Right, let me pause and make sure. Is that how that interaction works? No, that must not be... Yeah, that must be a different card. That must not be the Poro. Because then he was saying it was 6? Very unsure what card that was. That's the second time we've seen a hidden card. I'm not quite sure what card that is. But we sent in 6 at it. Obviously, that worked out to be an even trade. Now Student gets to conquer Zaun. And yeah, discarding Poro is greedy. But if your plan is to sit on Defy anyways, I think it's fine. And then we get rewarded by drawing our combat trick. Which the name of that one always confuses me. Discipline. Yeah, we get rewarded by drawing Discipline there for sure. Opponent gets to hold. Opponent up to 5. Oh no, they were at 5, right? I think we maybe haven't passed the turn yet. Yeah, it looks like we haven't passed the turn yet. I mean, there's no way you can send Spite Mother in, right? There's no way. You either leave Spite Mother in base or send her up to defend Zaun. I like this play. I think this is a good play. Just pass, leave Spite Mother on your base for combat next turn. All right, opponent retreats Phoenix, plays Jinx. We have a Death Rocket in our trash, do we not? If that's true, we're going to have a lot of interest in... Well, I guess we don't, right? Because now we have no cards in hand. Because of the Jinx. So he's just switching Jinx for there. No, you... Oh, whoa. We held. We don't get that victory point. Yeah. Okay. Jibbs got it. No, sir. You cannot get 2 victory points for claiming the same... For holding and then reclaiming the same battlefield. That does not work that way. And then we are... But we did put in Super Mega Death Rockets? I don't think that's how that works either, is it? I think Death Rocket, you have to actually discard a card, no? I don't think it's one of the you do it if you can. Bum. Super Mega Death Rocket, where are you? Here we go. When you conquer, you may discard 1 to return this from your trash. You may discard 1. Yeah, I don't think that works. Unless our opponent had a card in their hand that I did not see. I do not think that works. But they're going to keep playing. He also hasn't conquered a battlefield yet. I don't think this counts as conquering if you held it. Maybe it does. But I also just don't think we had a card in our hand to discard. A lot of weird things going on with this set of games. But that's all right. We make the best decision of a play we can. So I didn't quite see. Yeah, it looks like the Death Rocket is targeting Spite Mother. That is fine. I don't think there's any reason to use Discipline there. It doesn't keep it alive. Second Defy is interesting. We go up to 4, right? Okay, he got it. And, yep, I agree with this. I think this play makes a lot of sense. It's just watch her send in. Homie goes up to, well, -3 down to 1, and then +2 from reinforcements, but we still trump it in combat quite easily. And this is an easy pass. We like our spot. We kind of got all of the angles covered, I think. Our Watcher is set up to be a 9 might defending reinforcements, which means they're probably never going to be able to take reinforcements back over again, unless they try to set up some, like, Vi combo, right? But we've got the answer to Vi Ride the Wind already set up, so that's not going to work. It looks like he's thinking about retreating Students. I don't mind that play, but I think I wouldn't have done it. I guess it's fine, because then you're obliged to, if you're going to fight over it, you have to use the Discipline right away, and you'd rather sit on your Defies. Okay, yeah. No, retreating is right. Retreating is the right line to take here. Opponent has 2 cards in hand. Yep, they started with 0. So they have their Jinx ability. We let them go up to 7 here. Conquer, so they could pick up Death Rocket if they want to. Oh, that probably seals the game, no? Opponent has 2 cards in hand? Yeah, they just drew 2 and then didn't play anything? Very interesting. So Phoenix would be 0, so we probably double send. Yeah, I think this turns like pretty straightforward, no? I think we just accelerate Watcher, take over Zaun, and then we send the student somewhere. We send student left probably because Watcher on reinforcements is already a 9 by itself. So we just have it set up as 9 and 9, and then we double hold next turn. That looks really straightforward to me. Because, like, we're never losing the game with, like, defy, discipline. We've got all the answers, no? Yeah, we've got all the answers. Yeah, this is great. This game, if you've been with us from the beginning, this game started off horribly. Our opponent on the play had the 2-drop discard into Flame Chompers draw with Seal. Very impressive that we were able to come back this game. But yeah, I think our opponent's got to be close to 0 outs, right? They're using a Ride the Wind defensively? So now they're down to 1 card in hand? I probably fight over that. So they're going to go up to 3 cards next turn? What's the worst thing that could happen? It would have to be like Vi plus double Ride the Wind, no? Yeah, I think defying this is fine. Like, it just guarantees you, it's just a removal spell, right? You get your victory point no matter what. Oh, we're getting rid of the defy. I don't like getting rid of defy. I don't like getting rid of defy at all. What if they have like the move card? What if we need to like retake a battlefield next turn? Yeah, we get to draw the card off the discipline anyways. I don't. Oh, Zaun Warrens isn't a May, right? Zaun Warrens may not be a May, in which case we of course made the right play because there's no way we discard defy here. I thought Zaun Warrens was a May. Oh, nope, you just have to discard 1 and draw 1. Okay. Well, then we, of course, get rid of Discipline. It's not even close. Opponent has 3 cards in hand, and they're playing... Isn't that just the move to base card? We should not be defying that, right? We should not be defying... Oh, tell me he has Ride the Wind. There's no way we're supposed to defy that. He was just sending this Watcher to our base, no? Oh, he's doing it. He just... Oh, my God, the card is Ride the Wind. Oh, Jibbs, no! He's reacting the same way I am. No! I mean, okay, so... I've really enjoyed watching a lot of Jibbs' game. I think he would tell you, this is absolutely just a mistake. No, no flame whatsoever. Jibbs is awesome. This is just a mistake. We're at 6 victory points. You just let him move your thing to your base, and he's only got 2 cards in his hand. What is he... There's no way for him to get to 8 victory points from both battlefields. There's no way. You just save the defy. Vi Ride the Wind is the only possible thing that you could lose to. You just let that spell resolve. This thing goes to your base. You still have 9 defending here, and he has 2 cards in hand to take over 2 battlefields with no ready units. It's not like he has a Sun Disk in play. If there was a Sun Disk in play, sure, maybe you have to do something, right? But yeah, there's just no 2 cards that enemy can have here. You just He probably just like plays units to the board or something, and then you start your turn, get your point here for holding, and then you just retake. You just retake. Yeah, that's not it. That ain't it. Really cool finish, though. Really cool finish. Vi Ride the Wind is one of my favorite ways to finish a game. It's super powerful, and in most cases, pretty hard to defend against, obviously. Ahri is one of the few archetypes that can because of Defy, but tough. Tough, tough, tough. Tough, tough, tough. All right, let's move on to another one. Another one. All right. Here we go. All right, so we have God-Willow versus Sanctum. And then God-Willow is when you hold here, draw one. Aha. All right. Sanctum versus God-Willow. We are... All right, so we lost the last game, so we will be going first. We'll get that, which makes sense. And our hand is totally fine. Couple 2 costs, lots of 2 costs. Opponent leads on... Oh, that's the most tame turn one our opponent has had in this set of games. The most tame. Yeah, we just double 2-drop, I think, right? I don't think we need to sit on double on guard. I think that's... Oh, we did pass, though. Interesting. I don't think I would have done that. I mean, I guess his logic is he just wants to guarantee the hold, plus... Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I would have just wanted the Poro in play, I think. Because we can just do the same thing 2 turns from now, no? Death Rocket, presumably we're fighting, Yep. And we cannot save that one from on guard, right? Because on guard only gives the +2 if it's in a battlefield, correct? Give a friendly unit +1 this turn. An additional one if it is the only unit you control there. Oh, so we actually can do it that way. Well, we should, I mean, it's only +3, right, because of the student ability. So we can only get it up to a 5 anyways. So we do not have any interest in doing that, right? We just let it happen. Yep. I'm a little surprised the enemy targeted that one, no? Because wouldn't you want to be able to conquer and potentially hold? Interesting. Well, I don't think they're going to fight, right? Oh, just another seal? How many cards does our opponent have? Are they already proccing Jinx? Wow, they're so close. Oh, they have a... Wow. Wow. They're already proccing Jinx. That's really impressive. Very impressive. I think our turn is still set up to be totally fine, though. So we're going to draw a card for holding. And depending on what we draw, I think it's just an Ahri angle. Second card drawn. Oh, Mage Seeker's pretty good. I think we wait on Mage Seeker, though. I think sitting on at least one on guard or Defy makes a lot of sense. I don't think there's any reason. Opponent's board's, like, not that scary either. Like, we could retreat Student, but I don't think I would. I would make them have a way to interact. Yeah, I think it's just Ahri here. I like Ahri. Ahri pass. Threaten another hold. He's thinking Poro? Poro here feels so underwhelming. So, like, you're playing Poro to sit on 3 spells? What happens if you don't need them? That's such a tempo loss. Hmm. I'm really interested to see if we're going to need both on guards plus a defy here. I mean, maybe Jibbs' logic is he's already committed to playing all of them for another defend on student. Because, listen, Jibbs has made a very good read here. The enemy is for sure going to try and fight here, right? Because you can't just let us keep drawing infinite cards off of the hold proc. So Jibbs is basically just saying, listen, I'm going to have a weaker turn to make what you're 100% wanting to do more difficult. I respect that. I respect that. I tend to not really want to weaken my own plays to do that if possible. I mean, we effectively are only spending 3, maybe 4 of our potential resources instead of 5 guaranteed. So we're just adding to the board much slower. Phoenix is good. Cleave. So we're going Cleave. That's going to make Chompers 6. Yeah, now we just have to double on guard, right? If he's only sending the 1 in. He's got 1 card in hand, and oh, it looks like he's playing something else? What's going on here? We're just double on guarding, yes. Make our student an 8. It looks right to me. So yeah, now we're presumably, I don't think we should expect the opponent to have a last card that interacts here. And even if they do, we have the Defy, so yep. Draw a second card. Yeah, so this ended up working out fine. I still think I would have leaned Ahri, but you can see what Jibbs is thinking, and like I stated in the pretense, the play makes a lot of sense. The play is also a very good play. It was definitely more of an embarrassment of riches than it was a rock in a hard place. Setting up his draws for taking over Sanctum. Just got to be Mage Seeker, right? Mage Seeker hides Zanyas. I like Mage Seeker hides Zanyas. We reinforced the Mage Seeker for sure. You just reinforced the Mage Seeker, right, yeah. You do it on Warden, because you know that that's where he wants to attack. And then we just... Oh, we're retreating. So are we not going to Hourglass? I think we hide Hourglass, no? Yeah. For sure hide Hourglass. I like it. I like it. I like our spot a lot. The retreat is interesting to me. I would think that... So I guess the logic is if the opponent knows that it's Hourglass, then he doesn't want them to be able to proc the Hourglass on the students. Which is fine. That, again, another good play. But it does make it a little bit harder to hold. Interesting. I guess ultimately this is the play that I would have settled on also. I just hate losing that God-Willow value. So they're sending Phoenix into Poro. It's only a 4 because of the Ahri ability. We're only a 3. They are playing around Stupefy, which I think makes a lot of sense. So we'll just take our free trade. They get the Conquer. Yeah, we're kind of running away with this game. I think we're just getting to the stage of the game where we just get to play much more powerful cards. Much more powerful cards. Mage Seeker doing God's work here. Basically just a direct... Yep, there's the buy. Just a direct answer to Ride the Wind combo. We've got Defy in our hand anyways, and after the way Jibbs lost last game, I don't think he's going to be taking his eye off the prize for Ride the Wind again. I feel like this game looks pretty good for us, though. Opponent definitely, yeah, I mean, that's tough. You know the opponent wants to play a card. You know that the opponent wants to play a card because they want to go down to one card so that they draw 2 off their Jinx. Oh, we drew a second Time Warp. It's actually really awkward that we're only at 7 resources here. Wait. I do not like that Find Your Center play at all. No, I would have just played Ahri there. Play Ahri, sit on Defy. I mean, I know what he's thinking. He just wants to he wants to get up to Time Warp range, but now you just don't get to add a unit to the board. He's trading Phoenix. Or at least threatening trade Phoenix. I don't mind this. The problem is if the opponent has any card in hand that interacts with this combat, they want to play it anyways. No, so you're just giving them a free avenue to play it because they want to go down to 1 card so they can draw 2 off Jinx anyways. He's just bluffing something, right? He doesn't have anything to play. Yeah. And then you leave it Warden. You make him attack and proc your Hourglass. He's only got 3 victory points. I think we're still in a very good spot. I'm not sure that I liked the Find Your Center play this turn. I would have just played Ahri. Like, why do you need to get up to Time Warp this turn anyways? Maybe he wanted to be able to accelerate the Feyfolk, but I think you can just play Ahri. You go to 6, and then you go up to 8 next turn, and you can accelerate it that turn if you want. But you probably don't want to do that next turn. You probably just play it so you can Time Warp the turn after, or Watcher. It's very interesting. Alright, so we're making a big Vi. So he's going to fight Mage Seeker. It's going to proc our Hourglass. Oh, that's not what he's doing. Okay. But now Ride the Wind doesn't do anything. I thought he needed to... Oh, I might be missing something. Maybe he's got the Move Our Mage Seeker card? Doesn't this not work? What am I missing? He was just going to send it after the fact? So he was just doing it kind of backwards, no? I think they were kind of doing the Ride the Wind backwards. Let's see. Move a friendly unit and ready it. Yeah, I mean, this is... So what they did is slightly better because it leaves the Vi on God-Willow. But if you know this is Hourglass, you never get to hold anyways. I'm not sure. I think the opponent probably has to play his cards because it's not like you're going to hold them, right? I mean, the Jinx is... What just happened? What card is that our opponent played? Hello? Each player discards their hand and then draws 4. Okay. That's something. Doesn't seem like the highest power card. I don't think, right? Very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I think a lot of our decisions made a lot of sense this turn. I mean, you're not going to get much better Defy value. It turns out it was really good because we would have just lost it anyways. And we definitely just want to sit on this Mage Seeker. I mean, we get to draw a card from our God-Willow proc. We're still protecting it with Hourglass, which is very good. Six, seven, eight, nine. So we're very incentivized to only recycle one resource this turn. I don't know. This looks 6, 7, 8. 4 trade in. That doesn't look right. Let me pause here because I don't want to be. Well, it looks like it already happened. I was gonna say I didn't want to be misled. Not misled. I didn't want to be tempted by what Jibbs decides to do, but it's too late. We see that he's hovering the Spite Mother. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8 for the Accelerate. Which means we would not get to sit on Discipline, which I think is not acceptable. Yeah, so I think Jibbs plays right here. I think it's too important to sit on Discipline. And in addition to that, this play lets us find your center also. So I think this is 100% the right line. We're adding a little less to the board than I would like, but the Find Your Center is very important here because it lets us Time Warp next turn. And the Discipline is going to incentivize or increase the likelihood that we get to hold with this Mage Seeker. So I think we kind of have all of the angles covered. The fact that we draw our third Time Warp is looking real nice. Jibbs having a little fun with the Might clicker on his Warden. Let's see if... All right. Yeah, I like our spot here. I feel like we've got most of our bases covered. Opponent presumably cannot do anything to stop this Vi from trading with this Sprite. He's tanking, though, unless they might have some communication where they're just kind of, like, joking back and forth or something. Oh, he's thinking... Oh. I don't think I like this play. Why are we doing this? Was he just hoping to, like, draw another counterspell or a 2-drop, which we did, and we can reinforce? But I think Find Your Center is still better because we want a Time Warp next turn, no? Interesting. The problem is the unit is a hopeful. So it's like... Yeah, I think I just would have let them trade. I don't think I love... I don't think I love using the Discipline there. It worked out for, like, best case scenario. So now we're playing the Student, and we're just incentivizing the hopeful to take over. Because we need them to go to 5 to use this Find the Center. So I don't like this play. Because now, unless they can take both battlefields, we don't even get to play the Find Your Center. So they're Fallen Starring, which is fine. It gets our Zanyas. It looks like because of the Falling Star, this is going to work, but I think it was very greedy. The opponent's only at 4 victory points. I think we could have just not played the Student. I don't think the Student... I think there's a lot of situations where that play can go wrong. All right. What 3 cards do you have, opponent? All right, here's their second spell. Sun Disk is going to make it ready. It is another hopeful. That is probably very good news for us if that's the only thing that they can ready off the Sun Disk. We for sure, I mean, we just trade with one of them, no? But see, now we don't get to play our Find Your Center. Unless he has another way to ready, like it. So he might Jinx. But you don't generally want to Jinx with 2 cards in hand. So it's like, it's a big gamble. It's a big gamble. But the opponent also does want to go up to 6 victory points. So he might get away with it. He might get away with it. What do we got? We are reinforcing, which means we are not jinxing. Yeah, and then there's another, probably a fight or flight, right? But now we don't get to play our, Find Your Center. Yeah, I just don't like that play. Defy's a great draw. Very, very great draw. Do we not just win the game? What are we? We should. Yeah, we should go God-Willow first. I agree. And then we should. Yeah. This is. I mean, drawing the Defy makes this pretty easy, actually. We just watch her and. Do we send in one at a time? Is there any benefit to doing so? We just send them both in together, yes. Because it's fight or flight. Oh, it's Poro? Oh, it's not Poro, so we can defy it. All right, good deal. And we take our 8th victory point. I really need to know what card this is. I hate that card doesn't look like any card on the card viewer to me. But no, those games were awesome. Loved seeing Ahri do its thing. I think even Jibbs would say this was him kind of winning this set 3-0, but it was not uncontested either. This was we got to see the Jinx deck do some very degenerate things, right? The first game, they went turn 1 2-drop discard into Phoenix, and then in the second game they really went off, right? In the second game, they went 2-drop discard into Seal Flame Chompers, which was super filthy. So we got to highlight some of the Jinx stuff going on, which is a lot of fun. Because I think Jinx is, she's obviously a fan favorite. But I think there's a lot of unexplored territory that you can do as well. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video. That, start of turn draw 2 text on the legend is no joke. That's the real deal for sure. But no, those games were a lot of fun. If you enjoyed yourself as well, and are still having a good time with this kind of content, go ahead and throw out a like, comment, and subscribe for me. It does help out the channel a lot. And I would appreciate any feedback as well. If there's more things that you want to see me do that are not being done, please let me know. I've had some people comment deck list, which I think is a good idea if I have access to them. Obviously, I'm just doing a lot of VOD reviews, right? So I don't always have access to the deck list. But I can definitely do deck list for things like my weekly metagame reviews like I've been doing. And yeah, who knows, maybe one of these decks will be on the next review. Take it easy, guys. I appreciate you all watching. Peace!